What If Ruby Was Raised by the Grimm, also known as the Black Rose series, the second special. We start this What If with Ruby still unconscious from the last episode after losing one of her precious Grimm known as Freeze or Frost. She is in a very emotional state. They had captured Adam, and John was currently being tagged along. As well, Darren, who had captured Adam, shakes Ruby. Ruby! Ruby, wake up! Huh? What is it? We're going to a train station to take us to Atlas. What about Mother and the rest of the Grimm? They can make their way there through walking, but we're going to need a faster way of transportation to get to Atlas, especially for what I have planned. Really? Yes, and it needs for, well, technically only 3 of us, as I look at John. Why are y'all looking at me? Because I need Adam for my plan. Okay. Now, of course, they get to the station, they get off, and go on towards the station. As John is staying out in the rain, as he had gotten his weapon back. Darren was holding, well, Adam's sword. Why am I staying out in the rain? 1, because you have your weapons back. 2, do you want to guard this prisoner? No, I'm good. As the train would pull up, why are we keeping Adam around again? I need him for my plan, Ruby. Can you just deal with it? You can do whatever you want later. You can't help a person out, Darren. After all, we used to be friends. That was a long time ago. Yeah, when you were part of our Faunus Black Op group. No need to discuss about that right now. As Ruby's listening in. Huh? Black Op group. As the train would arrive, as first goes Ruby, John, Adam, and then Darren. As they would get on the train, as they go take their seats. As we would hear a few, seats forward as Nora and Ren are there. Hey, Ren, do you know when we'll see John again? After all, it's been like months. Where do you think he's off to? I don't know. We haven't had talked to John in a while, though. We've tried calling him, but he won't respond on a scroll. I wonder what he's up to. Well, it's none of our really business. As we go to the next cars, we see Yang, Blake, and Ruby. Or wait, no. Yang, Weiss, and Blake. As they're also wondering about John. So any of y'all know where John went? Yang says as she's eating food. Well, at least eat a little bit more civilized. After all, you're eating a lot of stuff as she's just basically stuffing her face. Well, it doesn't matter. He probably went home. He's probably not cut out for this anyway, Weiss says. As they would just go on some chit-chatter as we go back to, Ruby, John, Adam, and Darren. As, John would see Ruby's weapon come turning as he would duck his head. Not this time, as Ruby's weapon would hit the side of the, seat where John was staying. As he raised his head after Ruby moved her weapon. Not today, as then he would get hit in the back of the head by Adam. With his shoulder. As he would scoff. Try again. As he sits in his seat. As, Adam sits next to John, and Darren sits next to him with Adam's weapon. Why do I have to be tied up? as he's still tied up. Because you're a prisoner. Can't old pals just be old pals and bygones be bygones? Unfortunately, no. After we're done with this, I'm letting Ruby do whatever she needs to do with you. As he looks over at Ruby, who's giving him the death glare. Like, as soon as we're done, you're dead. Fair point. As we see Ruby lean towards the window as she's just watching the rain fall. As they're moving forward on the train, as the train's been moving for a little while, we actually see something jump on top of the train. We can't make it out, but something is obviously on top of the train. Now, after a few minutes of the track's moving, Ruby gets up. I'm done with dealing with y'all's chit-chat as Adam, Darren, and John have just been talking. Come get me in a little bit. Where are you going, Ruby? I'm simply going on a walk. As she gets up and walks. So may I please leave? As Darren and Adam look at each other. Last I checked, I wasn't keeping you here. Wait, I'm free to go? Yeah, go ahead. I wasn't keeping you here. Finally, as he would get up, as the train would then just hit something as John just falls flat on his face, hitting the ground. As John had just hit basically the wooden floor. Ow. As he gets up, and just fixes his nose. Ah. What is with my luck? As he would simply just walk right by Nora and, Rin. As they would see him. Hey, John, is that you? As he would look back over. Nora, it's been a while. And Rin. Hey, where have you been? I've just been on a wild goose chase for some odd reason. As he looks over and just sees Darren giving him the glare. You better not spill anything. As he was like, I was just wandering the country. I was looking for something. Oh, that's cool. Well, anyway, you want to sit with us? Sure thing. As John would end up staying with Nora and Rin. As, Blake, Weiss, and Yang would make their way into that car. As they would walk by and see John. Hey, John, it's been a while. As John would look over. Yang, is that you? Yep. As she would get a fist bump as they would fist bump. So you didn't go home. So where were you? Weiss asks. Oh, I was just traveling looking for a certain object. As Blake noticed the sweat. As then she looks in the direction where John was glancing his eyes. And sees a red-haired person and a brown-haired person. As Yang's about to go get a closer look, there's another bump in the car, causing people to grab their balance. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but we apparently do have, some messed up railways right now. As Yang would go back to the group, as they would sit down and chat. So, what exactly have you done? And how did you get away from Beacon when it was attacked? Well, I simply just ran for the hills. I guess that's the saying. I just kind of just ran to get out of there. As then we just see someone drunk come in here, all drinking alcohol. So what are y'all kids doing? Uncle Crow, what are you doing here? What, a person can't have a drink? As then Darren sticks his head out. Oh great, it's the Crow Hunter. I better not let Ruby see him. As the lights then would just flicker in the cabin. Hey, what happened? As we go to this mysterious something on the roof. As Ruby's just simply, seems to be rubbing her eyes. Why is it that I get these strange... And she would get a vision of like two beings for a second before she blinks. That's new. As then she feels water fall onto her shoulder. As she looks up and sees something. As then lightning would struck. As we go back to Darren, Adam, the whole group, pretty much. As they would hear a scream from another car. As all of them would go over. As the attendants there. As we see an unconscious Ruby on the ground. As all of them are, wandering over. As it's seemingly like there's blood on the ground and all that. Just catch up, by the way. Just for reference. As, who killed this person? As then Crow would come over. Oh, I guess it's now a detective game. So who last saw her? As then, this is when Darren and Adam come over. As Blake is like, Adam? As she grabs her weapon. As Darren's like, hey, no reason to get into a fight after all. He's chained up. Who might you be? As he pulls out a fake license, I'm a hunter. Oh, I see, as she puts her weapon away. But we need to find out how, Ruby died. As Darren's the one that checks her pulse. As, he knows she's alive. But then she looks up at the ceiling where the skylight was before seeing something. As he decides to keep it to himself. Well, anyway, we must find the person that did this. They're obviously going to be in the car somewhere. Or carts of the train. How many passengers are on this train? Darren asks. Me, y'all, and the conductor. The conductor is currently at the top of the train, so it couldn't have been him. That means it must be one of us. As they're all looking at each other. But we were all in the same car when it happened. Well, she wasn't. She wasn't, but why would a attendant of the train try to, kill someone? Makes no sense. And where were you when you found her? I was just in the restroom. Okay, what did anyone do when the lights went off? Well, we were trying to find out how to see, obviously, Weiss says. How do we know it wasn't Adam? He could have gotten out of those ropes, grabbed his sword, and went after her. Blake says, that's impossible. I had Adam's weapon the entire time. And I tied his hands up pretty good. It couldn't have been me. I was next to the, window with Ren, so we were the farthest from him, technically. That's true. What about y'all? Crow, I presume is what I heard. You were the last one to enter the car. Yeah, I was. But I'm a drunken mess. Yeah, but that still doesn't justify. You could have easily just killed her on the spot. I guess that's true. But I was too busy. As she shakes over his bottle. Having a glass. And of course, Ozpin comes in. Ozpin's new form, I always forget his name. As that boy comes in. What happened? And everyone looks at him. Where were you? I was trying to see if I could get some service. Because honestly, I was asking them to turn down the AC. It was pretty cold in there. As Ozpin takes over, I can confirm for him. As Darren recognizes the voice, Ozpin? I may be able to get answers out of him for this. As lightning would struck once again. But this time, someone else goes missing. John goes missing. As everyone looks over, okay, now John's missing. What's happening? Now we go to the top of the train where John is just now unconscious. as we finally get to see our culprit, Eclipse. As he sets John right next to him, as he still leaning in, watching the events unfold, them interrogating everyone else, trying to figure out who did it. So, Oscar, you say you were going to, well, try to turn down the AC, correct? Yes, I was really cold, and Ozpin can vouch for me for that. Hold up. How would we know it wasn't you, Hunter? The name's Darren. Okay, but still, how do we know? You could have easily just used Adam's weapon, framed it on him, or your own weapon, taken out Ruby. Now, I would definitely say I would have a vouch, as that person there is also Hunter I've worked alongside with. As Crow would then speak up, yes, but what if you have ulterior motives, wanting to turn in Adam and say get the full pay? Well, me and this person have been working alongside each other for a while now, so it cannot be me. As then the investigation would go on, as they would talk to each other, ask questions. As we go to Adam, okay, why are you interrogating me? I've literally been tied up, I don't have any weapons on me, and I've been here the entire time. Well, you're the former leader of the White Fang, so I figured you would know something. That's what you think. I have been just sitting here patiently waiting for my turn to get off the train with Darren here. And I'm glad his companion's dead, though. She did put up quite a fight against me, taking me down. As Crow is about to go check the body, Darren would stop. As in the lights would flicker once again as lightning would strike, making a glare within the car, as Ruby's body would disappear. Is everyone shocked? Okay, who moved her body? As we go back to the roof, and now there's just Ruby is up there as well, unconscious, and so is John. Now there's even more panic. Crow tries to calm everyone down. All right, calm down, everybody. There must be a reasonable explanation for this. For instance, she could still be alive. I checked her pulse. Obviously lying for Ruby again. Still, maybe the murderer is trying to get rid of any evidence left behind. That could be true. Does this car have any surveillance? Yeah, it does. Why? Take me to the surveillance room. As everyone would go to the surveillance room, as they're just tangly crowd trying to look at the monitor. As then it would show at Ruby looking up at something, as then the footage would cut off and she'd just be laying down. Okay, it seems like the power went out at the exact time when our little culprit struck. We can't say if it was little, it was definitely a sudden attack. Yes, but they were obviously trying to do something. But why was the target... Well, what's her name? Ruby. Ruby. Why was the target Ruby? Who knows? As Darren speaks up, maybe someone from her past was trying to catch up to her? Like a foe from a long time ago? That's the only thing that comes to mind. Yes, but we're the only ones on the train. As they go back to the car, as then Adam looks at the puddle that is formed, as he looks at the skylight, as then the power goes off once again, and Adam's the one to disappear. As he was actually the one who had wandered off a bit after they started getting into an argument, trying to figure out who it was. As then Blake's like, where's Adam? As they look over and they don't see Adam. See, I told you it was him. That's not true. We still have no idea where Adam is. He just disappeared. As then Oscar would notice, hey, is there supposed to be a puddle of water here? As they would see the puddle and then they would see the open skyline. As Darren gets on top and just sees another skyline open and close at the very end. As Ruby and John are still unconscious and Adam's just sitting there. Great. A Grimm. I hadn't seen you before, so are you one of her Grimm, I assume? As Eclipse just nods at Adam. May I ask why you kidnapped me? And kidnapped them? Because I'm pretty sure she's still alive. As he responds with a yes. Well, mind explaining? As it seems like this Grimm forms a bit of a smile. I guess I have my answer. As a few of them get on the roof, trying to investigate. So, he could have gotten far. They obviously used the Skyliner. But who has the keys to open the Skyliner? As then Crow will be looking at it. This was broken, not opened. As they come over and see that the Skyliner, connecting piece was busted. So the criminal, or whoever did it, busted into the car. Precisely. Wow. They obviously have some form of strength. Maybe their semblance helped. As all of them are chit-chatting. As then Darren would look over. Everyone duck. As everyone would duck, except Crow was like, huh? As then he would just hit a concrete wall as he goes, vroom. As he would turn into a crow and catch up to the back of the car with a broken nose. Ah. That's what I get when my semblance is bad luck. As he would open the car to the back, as then he would get a haymaker straight to the face as he's unconscious immediately. So there's 4 missing people. So is he going to be fine? Yeah, he should catch up with us pretty soon, though. Very well. As everyone gets back into the car before someone else gets hit off. As they get back into the car, they notice that, well, they managed to close the Skyliner for one. I suggest we split up and look for in the other cars, because I guarantee our little culprit, or culprits, are currently hiding somewhere within the train. As Blake speaks up, again, what if they want us to split up? Fine, how many of us are there? Well, there is 6 of us. No, 7. Alright, guess I'll take the pink hair and black haired person. With what? Pink? Or is that hair orange? Nah, orange. Alright, let's go. As Nora and Ren would follow Darren as they're going to the, back of the train. As Yang, Oscar, Blake, and Royce go to the front of the train. So why exactly are we heading to the back of the train? Just a hunch. As they're going through the cars and all that. Alright, here's the last one. I'll check it out. Can you check the rooms in this car? Sure. As Nora and Ren check the other cars, Darren opens the back to the last car and sees nothing. Just a bunch of hay. Huh. Just a bunch of hay. As he would walk in, as Ren would come in to see if he had found anything. You find anything? No, just a bunch of hay. As Ren was looking at the hay, as then he gets grabbed and pulled into the hay. As Darren would see this, after pulling out his sword, you would just see a faint tail swing of a Grimm. Right, Eclipse. As then Nora comes in. Hey, do you know where Ren went? I don't know. I think he said he was heading back. Alright, I guess we should head back. As before Nora and Darren leave. Oh yeah, Nora, one more thing. Yeah, what is it? As then, well, he would hit her right smack dab on the head with the edge of his weapon, making her fall unconscious before tossing her in the hay. And now to make it believable, as well, Eclipse pops out of the hay with a little bit of a smirk. Go ahead, rough me up. And of course, there would be like a. Imagine this lights going off, beat down session happening as he's tossed into another car. As he's on the ground unconscious. As, well, basically Team RWBY, which is Blake, Oscar, Weiss, and Yang, end up searching for Nora, Darren, and, well, Ren. As they come across, well, Darren. As they come over and check on him, as Blake checks his pulse, he's still alive. As they lean his back up to the wall. Hey, wake up! As Yang and Blake, you know, we're gonna look back here. Y'all two, just make sure he's okay. Why do I have to stay with him? Because that's how we're doing it. As Yang and Blake go into the last car. As Darren comes around. Hey, Weiss, he's coming around. Hey, what happened? There's someone waiting in the next car to take you out. I knew it, as Weiss would just run into the next car. As Oscar turns to Ozpin. You're lying, aren't you? As then he would smile before, well, grabbing something wood and just hitting Oscar on the tip of the head, knocking him out, before dragging him into a random room. And he uses the little closet in the room to, well, hide Oscar's unconscious body. Before going back and pretending to be fallen back unconscious. As Weiss comes in and just says, hey guys, as she sees both Blake and Yang are fine. What? I was told that there was supposed to be something to ambush you in this room. Wait. As they go, who's watching Darren? Oscar. As they go back, see Oscar's gone and Darren is still there unconscious. Hey, wake up. What happened? As he wakes back, or well, pretending to wake back up. Oh, it's y'all again. Who's the culprit? It's, as a giant grim, well, hand would come down, grab Darren by his collar, and then just carry him up through the Skyliner onto the roof. They're on the roof. As they would jump, as they would see, well, Eclipse, who's carrying Darren, who just simply jumps down into another car. After him! As they would try to follow, but ended up having trouble because it's raining and the top of the car is slippery. And, well, Blake not being, like, in getting wet, goes back into the car and just started running through the cars trying to find the culprit. As we would then see a Grim holding Darren as, well, Adam, John, and Ruby are still in the car that he's in now, as the Grimwolf simply cuts the line of the car, detaching from the main car, before waving away with an evil grin. Adam is still very much conscious, just witnessing all this, by the way. And that is the end of the Murder Mystery What If, or What If Black Rose series. Hopefully you all liked the second special. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.